Hey guys, William here again, aka Big Bastard, and I know it's been a while, been going through schooling and some other stuff. Right now it is like fucking cold as shit, as it was hit minus 22 last night. But very few things can be much colder than my reception of Star Wars Rogue One. And in this video, which I absolutely have to do to counterbalance all the Kool-Aid drinking lunatics calling themselves actual die-hard Star Wars fans, okay, I'm going to give a little perspective on why this movie is so fucking bad, okay? So, let's start off with a couple of little ideas. Let's start off with some ideas on how I actually go to a movie and prepare to view it. Okay? The level of hype does not factor into my actual eventual analysis of the movie. Okay? A couple times where this has been proven. Batman, The Dark Knight, that movie there, I pretty much totally convinced myself that all the hype was due to Heath Ledger's passing. I told myself this is going to be nowhere near as good as what this hype is. But I went and I saw the movie, and it actually turned out being way better than the hype could have ever indicated. Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I told myself this movie's going to suck, okay, because of all the negative pre-hype that it was getting. Went to it and actually found it to be a pretty solid movie. Michael's second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows, I went and saw, figuring it was going to be spectacular given the commercials I had seen, and then I went and it was actually one of the worst movies I've ever seen, ever. Okay, Rogue One's up there, by the way. But to continue this right quick into the Star Wars franchises, so Force Awakens, I pretty much had said in my mind that Disney was going to shank the Star Wars universe simply because one of the earliest reports I had heard was that Darth Vader was so critical part of Star Wars canon that you absolutely couldn't make a movie without him, and they were going to bring Darth Vader back, and he wouldn't be a clone, it would be pure Darth Vader, the real Darth Vader, and that just totally set me off, because I figured that they were going to do that in the post Return of the Jedi story, and you can't. Vader is dead, that's all there is to it. Well, I went to Force Awakens and reserved my judgment, rightfully so, because it turned out to be my second favorite Star Wars movie ever. And I've seen a lot of people giving negative criticisms out on that who are praising Rogue One, and that should show you the problem already with the people who are praising Rogue One. Okay? Was The Force Awakens perfect? No. But Rogue One, okay, let's get into this. Rogue One, okay, and remember, any of you watching this is a spoiler-filled review, okay, because I've really got to draw out some stuff to highlight how shitty this movie is, okay. Rogue One, just on general criteria that you would put to any movie that you are watching, much less a Star Wars movie, okay. General criteria that you're applying to any fucking movie you're watching. Plot, characterization, and especially the structure of the plot, the detailing in the plot, okay? All this stuff fails in the movie, okay? The plot starts off slow, okay? Horribly slow, okay? It held a little bit of intrigue for me at the beginning because Jyn Erso is the protagonist's name. Okay, Jyn Erso gets a crystal from her mother. I knew immediately that was a Kyber crystal. Okay, any Star Wars diehard's going to know that's a Kyber crystal. Okay, now, A lot of people who've seen the movie can say, okay, that's easy for you to say in hindsight, because later on we find out more about the Kyber crystals and that they're used as focal points in Jedi lightsabers. Okay? Now, what most Rogue One worshippers cannot tell you is that Kyber crystals are also used by Force sensitives to heighten their attenuation to the Force. Okay? They're a focusing device for Force sensitives. Not Jedi, Force sensitives. Anyone who actually realizes what piece of shit Rogue One is going to realize this. Okay? But, okay, back to addressing the general problems with this movie that you will apply to any other movie. The plot is convoluted. Okay? The plot is, it literally looks like they took pieces off the cutting room floor and just slammed them together and like, hey, that'll work. We got a movie. Look at that. Okay? It's disconnected. It's jumbled. And worse yet, okay, there are a lot of movies that have plots that might be confusing to a viewer, but you have an investment because you care about the characters. These characters are shit. They're flat. They're two-dimensional. A lot of the things they do don't even fucking make sense. Okay? The reprogrammed Imperial combat droid, whose name I can't even remember, it's like KS-2O. Okay? He's the best. He's overall the best product of the movie. Okay, one reviewer who had a good deal of criticism, whose eyes were open when she saw the movie, had a good deal of criticisms about the movie, said the K2SO was actually bringing some much-needed humor to this movie that otherwise you couldn't sit through without wanting to blow out your fucking brains. Okay, so we got a weak plot, a nonsensical plot, and we have poor characterization, okay, and another problem with the plot is it's contrived, okay, and by this I mean circumstances along the plot lead only to get the characters from one point to another point. Okay, now a lot of you are sitting there shaking your head saying, well, yeah, that's the point, right? No. I mean, these are forced circumstances, okay? So, for example, a good example is when they try to retrieve a data hard drive with the plans, the Imperial plans on them for the Death Star, okay? And first of all, and I assume this partially makes sense, I assume that they did this because there was a shield up and they couldn't transmit outside of the shield, the plans outside of the shield. Now, here's kind of an issue here. You already had rogue fighters in the, I'm sorry, I say rogue fighters, but you already had rebel fighters inside the shield. Rebel X-Wings. Okay? Just fucking transmit the plans to them. They have a better chance of getting out than you do. And while you're trying to do that, yes, that may not be guaranteed, but while you're trying to do that, then work on this problem of getting the data where you can actually get it outside the shield. Okay? You're going to have to take down the fucking shield anyway. You cannot leave with a physical hard drive until you take out the fucking shield. Okay, so you can already see how this plot starts to fall apart throughout the story, because decisions like this are coming up throughout the story, okay? And so then they decide, okay, well, we'll get Jyn up to the top of the tower so she can transmit this. The shield's up, but she can transmit this. Okay, well, if this was going on, why the fuck didn't you decide to transmit it anyway? From the beginning. Why did you have to physically possess the hard drive? You didn't? Okay. So, she gets up to the tower, and she's trying to plug in to transmit, and the damn thing is telling her the dish needs realigned. The dish needs realigned. Okay, so she looks behind herself. There's a fucking catwalk leading to a control panel for aligning the dish. Okay? Why the fuck wouldn't that be where she, with this main terminus where she could send the data? Okay, because granted there may have been logically an outer control panel in case you had to manually align the dish by sight. This wasn't the case here. Okay? Here's another problem. Manually aligning the dish by sight usually means that something major in your system has gone down. Most anything major in your system that goes down is going to affect pretty much all of your computer systems. Okay? So, either way, this isn't making a lot of fucking sense, right? Well, here's what we find out. Okay, she goes out to manually realign, even though, she could have just done a readout display at the main terminus, but I'm not going to touch that. Okay. She goes out to manually realign. She's not even doing it by sight because there's a little computer. There's a computer screen that tells you when it's in the right position. Wow. And that could all have been done on the main terminus. Yeah, issues abound in this movie like this. Anyhow, back to my main point. Okay, so, and the next thing you know, after she gets it aligned, so she can run back to the main terminus to upload the data, she gets strafed by a fighter. Wow, that was fucking convenient. Fighter comes in and hits that catwalk that she probably shouldn't have been on. Reeks. Plot setups like this are riddled throughout the fucking movie. Okay? Anyone who goes and sees this movie and can't distinguish basic fundamentals of solid plot writing and solid characterization, those are the ones that are praising Rogue One as a phenomenal movie. Okay? It's a pile of shit. Okay. Now, I've addressed the general issues, notably of plot and characterization and how plot contrivances are used to move the plot along, because frankly I think the director had several cases of beer while writing this. Well, I can't say the director, I apologize. The writers, whoever wrote it, had several cases of beer, during the final draft. And they're like, oh yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that's good there. Because that's what the plot looks like. Okay? That's basically what the plot looks like. I will be fair. If you like any of Die Hard's sequels, you like violent eye candy, okay? You like just going and seeing the explosions and you're not really worried about plot, Rogue One's great for you. If you actually care about plot, if you actually care about characterization, yeah, pass on Rogue One. Okay? Now let's get to the Star Wars technicalities that are addressed. And I've been called out on this. I have been taking the internet by storm since the night I got back. Okay? I've been called out on this on YouTube. Okay? Because I talk about Canon and the expanding universe that came before. Okay? And one dude's like, well, don't you know that Disney decanonized everything and so it doesn't matter anymore? Let me tell you, it does matter when people are praising this movie because of one fucking stupid plot hole, okay, that the entire prior Star Wars universe has been called out on. Okay? When that's the issue, then you goddamn right that canon matters. Okay? Do not fucking call out a Death Star mistake in canon and then immediately revert to, you can't use canon against us. That is fucking lame ass way to win an argument. Okay? So, let's go in to some of these canon issues. Number one, I'm tired of hearing about the fucking Death Star scenario and how it was flawed. Okay? Guess what? I'm going to link to a video, either here in annotations or down in the comments. Click on that. It says perfectly what I feel about this whole plot hole that supposedly Star Wars diehards are so worried about. Okay? If you're worried about how a tiny ass fighter could find a tiny ass trench, an armed trench, I might point out, and shove 2 torpedoes down a exhaust port, which is doing its fucking job ventilating for a reactor core. Yeah, let's shut that up, okay? Great idea. Okay, then yeah, I'm so frustrated. I don't even fucking remember what I was gonna say. But basically, yeah, this video sums up my whole feelings on that. If you're calling yourself a diehard Star Wars and your biggest concern in the franchise, okay, is that fucking thermal exhaust port, okay, then you should really be written off as a Star Wars noob, okay? Because me, I look at Star Wars continuity, I think about the more ridiculous things. Okay, how Anakin built C-3PO, coincidentally, who came into, coincidentally, Luke's life. Oh, and R2 ends up paired with 3PO. Go to old Ben Kenobi's words in A New Hope, which maybe Jedis can get Alzheimer's, and that's the problem. I don't remember owning a droid before. R2-D2 is too fucking unique an astromech. Not only that, I mean, look at the shit that's going down during your early years. Okay, I don't remember any of that. Seriously, me? Just me? Really? Okay. Here's another thing that's pissing me off. Okay, point number 2 that is drawn from canon, and everybody gets pissed when you argue back with canon. Everybody's like, well, this is the first time ever that the story's told how Princess Leia got the Death Star plans. No, it's fucking not. Okay? There was a defecting Imperial general named Crix Madine. Okay? He's how they got the fucking plans. Okay? This is canon. This is canon. This is from the video games, but this is canon. Okay? Crix Madine gave the Rebel Alliance the Death Star plans after being rescued from Imperial detention by Kyle Katarn. Okay? That's considered canon, like it or not. Okay? Oh, let's see. What else are we dealing with here? Let's address some of the fundamental flaws. Okay? You have a fucking ATST being used for urban street patrol. ATSTs cannot navigate city streets. Anybody who does not know why, Rogue One's great for you. Okay, you're probably one of those that are talking about how great Rogue One is, in fact. Let's address the introduction of a non-canon fighter, which was never even released in the expanded universe. Pre-BBY. Okay, if you don't know what BBY is, Rogue One's right up your alley. Okay, this fighter did not exist, but this director, much as I have accused him of, wanted to make Star Wars his franchise. He's basically like to the fans, okay? And he's like, this is my baby. This is my story, okay? Plot, characterization, all that be damned. Oh, and you like your little canon. Well, let's just kind of chuck that out the window. Then I get credit. For doing the things that fans have always wanted to do. Okay, always wanted to have addressed. Okay, no, a real fan will know that shit's already been addressed, Junior. So get the fuck off the pedestal, get off your fucking high horse, and give us the movie we deserve. And this is another thing. I am so sick of hearing how people are saying, this is a Star Wars movie that real fans deserve. This is the prequel that the diehards have been waiting for. Fuck you. This is a steaming pile of shit. And the fact that I am one of the very few diehard fans, as many of these Rogue One. Let me put it this way. If you're a diehard fan, and I mean a true one, and you like Rogue One, I'd rather not be a diehard. Because that's just fucking insulting. Okay? Let's overlook. I mean, I'd like to know where the fuck this Kool-Aid's coming from. Okay? Where the fuck is this Kool-Aid coming from? Because I managed to stay away from the Kool-Aid. Okay? The problems abound and abound and abound. Okay? But I want to stop for a minute and look at how people are bashing The Force Awakens. Okay? The Force Awakens had some plot issues, okay, but it had a solid plot, okay, overall. It had great characterization, not good characterization. It had great characterization, okay. Even the characters you didn't like, or could even, maybe you didn't feel remotely attached to, they compelled you, okay. I don't like Maz Kanata at all, but she intrigues me, okay. In fact, at first, I had kind of reactive stance to her because here we go again with the great wise Jedi, well, in this case, force sensitive user who guides and protects. And there are some things in the Star Wars canon that is getting a little old. Okay, let's not even address the super weapon with the weak flaw, mind you. Okay, let's not even address how old that is. Okay, second time around, you could just suspend disbelief. Okay, enough to let that happen. Okay, but it starts coming third, fourth time around, it's getting a little tedious. Okay, well, and behold, irony of ironies, the director of Rogue One doesn't have to worry about that because somebody already wrote the story and he's just filling in the gaps that were already well cemented, I might add. Okay? And like I said, frankly, if you're worried about an occurrence that really happens in everyday real life, then you really need to do something more with your time than fucking dealing with Star Wars. You need to actually go out and get a life. Okay? Because let's address this. Okay, it's a structural. First of all, it's being proclaimed as a flaw, a design flaw. Okay, it's an exhaust port. It's a ventilation port for a goddamn reactor, a main reactor. Okay, tell me how this doesn't make sense. You want to close that up? You want to plug that? Okay, you got an armored battle station that can withstand the assault of fleets of frigate-up starships. Okay? And don't get started on the whole starship not Starship shit, okay? You know that I am using the generalized term of Starship, and not go fuck yourself, because frankly, I don't care, okay? Now, this massive, almost impossible to approach, let alone assault, battle station is doing the right thing. It's exhausting its waste, okay? You have an exhaust port for a thermal, or I say thermal. I'm getting so fucking agitated. I can't even get my thoughts together. For a main reactor core, okay, whatever that happens to be composed of. We know Star Wars doesn't have nuclear material. I can't off the top of my head tell you what's in that main reactor core, okay? But the point is common sense tells you it's got to be vented. Okay, you can't let that shit build up in the battle station, okay? This is what Rogue One fans want you to do, by the way. Okay? Fan ones are like, close it off, it's not a problem. Yo, Chernobyl, anybody? Okay, yeah, Rogue One fans are basically the people who would start a Chernobyl in the Star Wars universe. Let me put it that way. Okay, how much faith do you have in Rogue One fans now? Okay, it is the fucking stupidest thing to get worked up over. A hole, a tiny ass little hole. You got battle station impervious, fucking impervious to a full frontal, full fleet assault. I mean, no, let's go 100 fleets. Let's go 2,000 fleets. Okay, that thing can't be damaged by even the most. It can be damaged by freighters, frigates, corvettes. Okay, it has nothing to worry about. Okay, first of all, some low-life imperial piece of shit, thinking from the Empire's perspective, deals out our secrets to our enemies. Yeah, let's hang that traitor son of a bitch. Okay? It doesn't matter. I mean, no one's going to sit there and think, Jesus Christ, man, we left that thermal exhaust port open. Oh, shame on us. And who the fuck decided that 2 fucking torpedoes could chain reaction that thing? You know, who sat there and they're like, thermal exhaust port, main reactor, no, an exhaust port, that takes things in, right? That takes shit in, right? So if we like get 2 torpedoes down there, guys, I'm thinking we could do some serious shit, man. You know what I'm talking about, okay? If you want to attack the fucking plot hole, don't attack it on the goddamn design of the Death Star. Attack it on the fact that some asshole, some redneck asshole in the rebellion, decided this was a great idea to begin with. An exhaust port has this little video that I've linked to, shows exhaust pushes out. Pushes out. How the fuck are you going to get torpedoes into an exhaust port? God, I got nothing for you. I mean, what, did the exhaust port have to catch his breath? Oh man, I think I'm having issues breathing. Seriously, fucking seriously, just me. An exhaust port. This whole blow up the Death Star thing, okay, is fucking ridiculous, okay? Anybody who's so fucking focused on the Death Star design being flawed, Rogue One's right up your alley. Frankly, you don't deserve a better Star Wars movie because you're just fucking stupid, okay? Let's address other things that the Rogue One movie gets wrong from a technical point in Star Wars. Okay, I believe I've introduced the fact that a non-cannon fighter, BBY, was just thrown in there out of nowhere. Okay, boy, we could use that thing when assaulting the Death Star, couldn't we? Troop transport and all, man. Yeah, well, we left those grounded. Never saw them in any of the shots, but we left those grounded. Let's address, and I've already addressed the fact that an ATST cannot maneuver fucking city streets. Oh yeah, speaking of walkers, so we get glorious shots of small armed craft doing what the land speeders couldn't do and magically taking out the joints of the walkers. Damn, wish them rebel guys had thought of that on Hoth, right? You know, if it was that fucking easy, man, oh, just hit the joints. You know, just hit, the knees, right? You can take anything out of the knees, right? That's how that works, right? Boom! Small arms fire taking down AT-ATs. Gotta love it. Gotta fucking love it. The weak point of an AT-AT is its neck, which is virtually, I might add, unapproachable. Not a design flaw, mind you. Not a design flaw. I don't even want to take the fucking time to address why. Okay? Because if you fucking focused on the Death Star design flaw, you're already focused on the AT-AT design flaw. Okay? I'm not even going to fucking address anything with you on that regard because you're just so fucking stupid you don't get it. Okay, so, moving on. Let's address the fact that General Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin, had to take over his own project. Shall we? Yeah, he had to usurp his pet project from someone who apparently he loaned it to. You know, yeah. General Tarkin was on the Death Star from the beginning. He oversaw that fucker from the beginning. Okay? And everybody wants to talk about decanonizing the universe. Okay? The book Tarkin just came out. Okay, now I have not read that, but I'm pretty sure it tells the same story we all know. Tarkin running his pet project. Okay? Yet the movie Rogue One apparently didn't get that memo, and Tarkin has to usurp his own project from a lowlife gutter general Krellick. Yeah, good times, good times. Oh, K2SO, as humorous as he was. Okay, ask any Rogue One diehard. Rogue One giggly. I'm sorry, diehard's too extreme. Ask any Rogue One fanboy to tell you that K2SO is actually a poor imitation. As entertaining as he is, and don't get me wrong, he is entertaining. I like the fact he's his own entity and distinctive, but he essentially comes down to a poor imitation of HK-47. Okay, that's bottom line. That's all it is. Okay, and you Rogue One idiots, go ahead and Google it because I'm not going to tell you who HK-47 is. Okay, but my guess is you're already out there Googling it, so you can try to throw something in the discussion to say, "Oh yeah, I knew who HK-47 was." Oh, and just so you know, I'm not the psychotic fan who has mastered the entire expanded universe. Okay, I have mastered enough of the expanded universe that I can throw this shit out here and actually know what I'm talking about. Now, why don't you square off against people who have mastered every fucking nuance of the expanded universe as well? Okay, because they will be shooting your ass down way faster than I am. Okay, but moving on. So, someone pointed out, after Googling it, I'm sure, the Hammerhead Cruiser from Knights of the Republic, which I knew I'd seen, I couldn't remember where. So, credit to whoever Googled that. The Hammerhead Cruiser from Star Wars Knights of the Republic video game. They're like, oh yeah, man, those of you guys that are saying the expanded universe is getting gutted by Disney, they had this Hammerhead, and it was useful. No, it wasn't useful. It mashed one. Okay. Try to hit a Star Destroyer ramming speed with anything smaller than a Corvette. Okay? And see what happens. And more than I really can't see even a Corvette. I mean, a Corvette will leave a big hole. You know? But here's this Hammerhead. Boom! Full speed ahead, dude, into that Star Destroyer. And I'm thinking, oh man, I love these scenes. You know, the self-sacrificing. We're going to take this down by plowing into it and making a big hole. Wait, it's not exploding. It's what is it doing? The commander's like fire thrusters, and it pushes one star destroyer into another, defying the laws of even Star Wars physics. Wow. Cream colored Star Destroyers. Enough said on that, right? Enough said on that. Oh, and, I'm going to go back to the general issues of plot and characterization that I was talking about earlier. If people's biggest praise for the movie is the last act, there's something wrong with the fucking movie. Okay? If someone sits there and says, "Oh yeah, man, that Darth Vader scene killed it. Worth the price of admission." Okay, don't get me wrong. It was worth the price of admission because it was the only thing that kept me awake during the fucking movie. It was the only thing that damn near brought me out of my seat with joy during the entire movie. People have said, yes, this is Vader as he needs to be. Yes, it is. Okay? That still doesn't make up for the other fucking rest of the movie being shit. Now, speaking of Vader, okay, throws out a fucking cheap ass one-liner, okay, during well, I can't say it's an interrogation, a punishment of a General Krellick. He throws out a one-liner. Darth Vader, okay. I'd be more inclined to see Boba Fett throw out a one-liner, okay. They totally. And any diehard knows this, okay? Any diehard will point this out, and it has been pointed out by other diehards. That's not fucking Vader. You just ruined his fucking character with that. That one moment, you fucking ruined his character. Good job. Good fucking job. Okay. Yeah, this movie was a fucking mess. I could sit here and rant some more and bring up points that I probably missed that I've addressed on the internet. But seriously, goddamn, if you claim to be a real Star Wars fan, I am begging you not to see this movie and to try to counteract this lunacy on the net. I understand it to a degree. When Phantom Menace came out, I loved going and watching that repeatedly because the effects were, made me all giggly. It's first Star Wars movie in 20 years. First new Star Wars movie in 20 years. And yeah, I went out and I supported Phantom Menace and I loved watching it. It was a fun, fast-paced action flick. I didn't really get bogged down in plot details. But once I started going retrospecting and looking at the plot, I did not hold any merits on it. I turned around and I said what a piece of shit it was for this and this reason. It's fun to look at. It's another Die Hard installment in the Star Wars franchise. Probably the first ever Die Hard. Unlike most people, I cut a lot of slack to 2 and 3 because I do see what Lucas was trying to intend. I have problems with people talking about how whiny Anakin was. I didn't hear Anakin uttering, "But I was going to go to the Tashi station and get some power converters." Really go back through episode 4 and actually pay attention to Luke's lines this time. You're going to see Luke does a good deal of whining. Okay? The thing I actually liked more about Anakin as a character was he carried that angry edge with it. This is the other thing people are missing. And is Star Wars too perfect? No. Okay? But, and frankly, Star Wars 2 is kind of hard to get through for me. Okay? But, Lucas was trying to show Anakin's evolution into Darth Vader. And Lucas was trying to show that that child on Tatooine, that he had picked up on Tatooine, or wherever the hell it was, I think it was Tatooine, okay, ends up still being a child in many ways at such a late development in life, and then progressively that child, the childish traits of Anakin are what leads him to the dark side. Okay, apparently I was one of two people who watched 2 and 3 who actually got that memo. Okay, and it makes me feel like a bit of an exclusive club. Am I saying the movies are great? No. But compared to Rogue One, they're masterpiece. Compared to Rogue One, Phantom Menace, which I can really no longer watch all the way through without possibly falling asleep, is Ben-Hur. Okay? This is how bad Rogue One is. Okay? I have never hated a Star Wars movie so much. Never. Each Star Wars movie I've seen, no matter how bad the plot was, had some redeeming quality. And all of them adhered to the basic structure of plot detailing. Okay? Were there plot holes? Yes. Okay? I mean real plot holes, not these imagined, fantasized. You exhausted for a main reactor. That was kind of stupid, man. Should have rethought that one, sealed that sucker up, because that really is a plot hole. No, that is a function that does its job. Okay, that actually makes sense from a plot perspective. Okay, it's kind of like the gun that fires. How many people call that a plot hole? Oh, well, that gun went off and killed that guy, man. They should really address that plot hole. Can you imagine, dude? Can you imagine? Ever thought that gun would go off like that? I know the guy pulled the trigger and all, but I don't think they're supposed to do that, are they? Yeah, I don't think they're supposed to do that. That's a gaping plot hole, if you ask me, bud. Okay, I've sat through Stargate. I've seen plot holes. Okay, lots of them. I've sat through a lot of movies. Okay, to be so fucking focused on a structure being designed in accordance with real world standards. Yeah. Now, granted, the second time, I don't think the Empire really took enough precautions, knowing that that was the weakness that led to the destruction of the first one. I would have, yeah, I mean, I know you got a vent and everything, but I would have really done something a little more than just throwing up a shield with a remote generator on the moon right next to the Death Star. That, yeah, you might want to rethink some of that. You want to talk about plot holes? Let's talk about Jedi. Okay, but I digress. I am done. I am frustrated as hell. I am sick of seeing the fanboys out and about who have never seen, their introduction to, most of them, their introduction was to the Star Wars franchise through episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I don't know if I can fault them for that, is they're a part of a later generation than I am, and they have learned that Flash, they've basically learned that a story consists of flash and bang, flash and bang, flash and bang. Okay? Traditional plot telling elements are lost to them. Okay? And even more so where I am a writer. Okay? And I have taken creative fiction essentials from a published author. Okay? And I aced that course. Okay? I think I know a little about what I'm talking here. And I have actually spent over 20 years studying this craft. Okay? And no, I still don't have technically don't have a published work to show for it. But, yeah, I know a little bit about this craft. Okay, so don't fucking talk to me about plot holes. Okay? I think a lot of these people were weaned on episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think that's how they got their introduction to the Star Wars universe. I think they're just craving something different. I think they're craving something they can call their own um, die-hard Star Wars product. Okay, episodes 1, 2, and 3 clearly failed that name. The Force Awakens. Okay, I don't know why everybody's being so fucking hard on that, because despite the issues it did have, okay, it has much more merits than it ever did issues. Okay, compared to Rogue One, who is issue riddled, who is just, I mean, it ignores, it not only ignores Star Wars canon, it not only ignores Star Wars expanded universe, it ignores traditional plot structuring, pacing, and characterization. Without that, you cannot have a story. It makes sense to me when an idiot like Ebert gives it such a high rating. It does not make sense to me when people claiming to be diehard Star Wars fans give it such a high rating. Okay? And frankly, that's all I got to say on it. I'm frustrated. I am pissed off. I am tired of the bullshit hype for a shitty movie that no one can see violates basic premises of plot structuring, pacing, and characterization. And anyone who says otherwise has never taken a creative writing course, has never studied the art of writing. And I have done so for over 20 years. So don't talk to me about how great the characterization, plot pacing, and plot structuring is. That's all I gotta say. This is a very frustrated big bastard, and I'm tuning out. Hopefully, I will be getting more videos up later on just anything. I'm not even gonna mention any topics or that. Every time I do, I get fucked on my output. I just, something comes up and it hamstrings everything. So fuck that. I'm done with that. And I'm doing this mostly to talk about how I feel about things. I'm not really worried specifically about making money from it. But if you have been supporting me, and if you have been here for me, thank you very much. The rest of you, I hope you will subscribe, and I will get content out as I am able to. And especially if more movies like Rogue One come out, I will definitely be getting out more content. But thanks for viewing. Hope you like and subscribe. And this is Big Bastard signing out.